interesting to see in that Big 12. We keep talking about it. With Houston, with Iowa State, with Kansas, with BYU. They're going to be battle tested, but so is the rest of that league. And man, that is going to be fun to watch.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
There are a million ways to make money on this. There really is. Right? Like, I sit back. We've given you a couple of ours that we've given you. I think they're all going to win, essentially. The gold one, the Google Views one. The only one I might not win, Cam, that I gave people was, will the U.S. government announce that aliens exist in 2026?
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Super Bowl MVP, multiple Super Bowl chances there, Super Bowl championship as they got it. Nick Sirianni said on the radio, no chance that Jalen Hurts is going to be benched. But by the way, Jalen Hurts didn't play the last 3 games. I think the Eagles would be 3-0 in those games, though. Just saying, Joe.
Oh, wow. How the mighty have fallen. When the Eagles fans turn on their quarterback, it's getting ugly in Philly, folks.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on...
It's a Football Friday on the SportsGrid Network. It's the Early Line, and boy, oh boy, do we have a show getting ready for you. The reason is we got 2 hours to explain exactly what happened yesterday, what's going to happen on Friday night, and more importantly, on Saturday and Sunday. There's college football this weekend. Yep, Army-Navy, a couple bowl games, but that NFL card on Sunday where we start to head towards the playoff. Imperative that the good teams stay up top, the bad teams look for draft position, and so on. And as I say that, Joe, the bad teams are supposed to look for draft position, particularly when they're down 14 points in the fourth quarter of a meaningless game. Not last night, people. We'll get to the Buccaneers' absolute collapse and maybe some comments from Todd Bowles in his post-game press conference. It's a Football Friday, Joe. I'm excited. I know you're excited. We're ready to go.
Yeah, ready to go. I mean, we got bowl season kicking off this weekend, Donnie, as well. So, and some terrible matchups, but some really, really important matchups on Sunday, too. So I'm ready for it.
Ice cold factors in as well on Sunday in some of these games. But more importantly, Joe, as Tony Montana once said, fly, Pelicans, fly. They picked up a win for me last night. It's time to get captain. Where's that energy, Joe? Give me that topic.
All right, Donnie. So today we need to talk about what might be just the biggest crybaby in all of sports, especially college sports. And we're talking about, of course, the University of Notre Dame. Now, ever since the committee put Miami in the playoffs over them, Notre Dame's athletic director, Pete Bavacqua, has been on a worldwide sympathy tour. He's hitting every microphone, crying about how unfair it is. He is just furious. I mean, furious that the ACC campaigned for Miami instead of Notre Dame. So let me get this straight, Pete. You're mad that a conference supported a member, are you ready for this, of their own conference instead of the independent school that refuses to join the club. That's like getting mad at your neighbor who cooked dinner for his kids and didn't cook dinner for you. Are you kidding me? But here's the best part. The irony is absolutely delicious here, because while Notre Dame was throwing this temper tantrum, they accidentally exposed their own little dirty secret here, Donnie, because it turns out that Notre Dame somehow cut a deal with the college football playoff group here that starting next year, They have a golden ticket. A memorandum of understanding was signed that says if Notre Dame is ranked in the top 12 next year, well, they get an automatic bid, period, because they're independent. No questions asked, no head-to-head tiebreakers. If this rule was in place this year, Miami, who beat them out on the field head-to-head, would have been left out and Notre Dame would have been in. It is a literal get out of jail free card. And by crying so loud this week, Notre Dame basically woke up the rest of the country, including all the other conference directors, because athletic directors everywhere are now looking at this deal and saying, wait, what? Why are we going to make it easier for Notre Dame and schedule games against them? It's a heads I win, tails you lose situation for Notre Dame, Donnie. If you beat them, doesn't matter because, well, they'll likely have a free pass anyway. So guess what? Conferences are starting to talk about freezing them out. Why schedule a team that has the system rigged in their favor? So congratulations, Notre Dame. You couldn't just take your L like a man here. You had to whine, you had to scream, and now you've exposed yourself as the most entitled program in America. Not like we didn't know that. But here's some advice. How about you join a conference like everyone else? Or stop crying when the rest of the world doesn't roll out the red carpet to play you. You are not God's gift to football anymore, Donnie. Of course, don't tell Notre Dame that. They think they are college football.
You're spot on here, Joe, because remember all those championships Notre Dame's won over the past 20 years? You got to let them play by their own rules. Oh, that's right. It's been basically, they're the Dallas Cowboys of college football. Yeah, they got their own network, but they don't win a damn thing on a year-to-year basis. But they want to be treated like if we missed the, and understand this, Joe. Did I miss the ruling where if Notre Dame stays out of the college football playoff, nobody watches the college football playoff?
Yes.
Just like everything in the past year, they were going to have record ratings when we get down to it in the Final Four and in the final in the championship game. They'll be just fine without Notre Dame showing up in the playoffs and always coming away a loser here. And you're right, Joe. Join a conference, then we don't have to have any of these issues. But Notre Dame is going to be Notre Dame, and we'll see how that works out. Let's get to the early lineup here on a Friday morning, Joe, which dealt with last night. I can't believe a 28-14 lead for the Buccaneers in the fourth quarter evaporated enough not to get the cover, Joe, not even to get the win. The Bucs dropped to 7-7, and Kirk Cousins threw for 373 yards last night with 3 touchdowns, all to Kyle Pitts. Incredible.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Kirk Cousins should just be a hired gun to play the Buccaneers because it appears that for whatever reason, Donnie, Kirk Cousins owns the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Unbelievable comeback by a team that was already eliminated from the playoffs and now they put a serious damper into the Tampa Bay playoff hopes here. So good win for Atlanta. Nice bounce back after the embarrassment, but there were so many things wrong with this game last night we'll dive into.
I'll tell you also what's wrong here. TJ Watt practicing at the facility, getting treatment, somehow hurts his lung. We're not getting all the information right now, but I would be shocked in a massive game on Monday Night Football that he is going to play in that cold weather with that lung. We'll get more details, I'm going to assume, today, but it's an interesting situation. Almost has that feel for like Tyrod Taylor got the injection and it pierced his lung. I don't know if we went that far, but just an oddity here, which wounds up with TJ Watt in the hospital.
It's exactly what I thought, Donnie. When I heard the story, I'm like, there's got to be more. Like, what is going on here? But I'm with you. I think when it's all said and done, come Monday night, he will be out on the field. But very strange situation here. I can't wait to hear exactly what this was all about.
Yeah, you know what else we're going to talk about too, Joe, as you had on your hot topic there? It is Notre Dame here, and the school's trying to freeze them out. Here's the one thing I do get a kick out of. Like, Notre Dame needs a conference for every other sport that they have. The ACC is like, hey, we'll take care of you. We'll do that. Let me get this straight, Joe. Nobody cares when Notre Dame basketball comes to town. Nobody cares about Notre Dame lacrosse. Nobody cares about Notre Dame softball, Notre Dame baseball. So the ACC should actually return their favor. Like, oh, it's like that? Well, now you're out. Go be an independent in every sport and see how much those costs are going to be when you got to fly to Sacramento and you got to fly to Arizona and you got to fly to Maine and Massachusetts just to play a lacrosse game at this point. Kick them out, ACC, altogether.
How they managed to cut this deal, Donnie, is beyond me, where there is some sort of understanding that just finish in the top 12 and we'll get you in because you're an independent. You won't have a conference, yada, yada. Who does that? And then has the nerve to go out there for a week and cry and moan the entire time. So people are, if you just would have shut up and went away, we would not have known about this, Donnie, until next year. Nobody would have cared one way or the other.
I got to tell you, wait till Pete Bavacqua gets a hold of Marcus Freeman heading to the New York Giants. Then we'll see him go around and say, see what happened? You left us out of the playoff, and he left because he doesn't think he can get into the playoffs now at this point. You know who's going to get into the playoff possibly? How about Phillip Rivers out here? He's got a Madden rating of 70 now. He could dominate on Sunday. Push that up to 75, Joe. Come on.
Fingers crossed, Donnie. Fingers crossed. Let's get him out on the field and see what the Colts have. Come on, let's do this.
Travis Jones here signs a 3-year extension with the Ravens. I guess that's good luck with that, Ravens, huh?
No, at least he's healthy because it doesn't seem like anybody else on that team is, Donnie. So kudos to him, though. Ravens need all the help they can get.
By the way, hot stove, Robert Suarez here. Good move by the Braves. Didn't like the way last year panned out. A lot of injuries. Fortify that bullpen, man. Bullpens win. Good move for the Braves.
Yeah, another closer off the market too, right, Donnie? They're running out of not a lot left available for teams to sign.
No, get that back end of the bullpen right there with Iglesias. I like that move certainly here. Jason Collins, some sad stories here. Reveals stage 4 cancer diagnosis. They're telling him his twin brother, keep fighting, man. We got your back at this point. Football Friday right here on the SportsGrid Network. It's the early line. Joe and Donnie. We'll be right back. Massive budget down there in LSU, no doubt about it, Joe. But
I just want to bring in, he's very close to Eddie O, too. Yeah. And Eddie O, potentially, it said he would, love a return. You bring that type of talent, another major recruiter.
Yes.
And Ed Ogeron back to Baton Rouge. You're going to have a fantastic NFL caliber type of staff, and they're going to hit the ground running week number 1 come 2026.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
I think this is a very tough one. I haven't bet this because I still think it's that close. I would lean towards the sentiment of the voter body instead of the anointing of the new star. But at a certain point, the next 2 weeks, Drake May could be undeniable. It's really interesting market right for those two. And remember when Matthew Stafford wasn't going to play all year? Remember in August where he wasn't practicing? And now he is number 2 for MVP. So go figure.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
You're legendary. I'm legendary. And both of these guys love each other. Right? Cam Ward, they do. They work out. They work out. Legendary.
Go ahead.
Cam Ward.
Yep.
Shador Sanders.
Yep.
250 plus and 2 tutties each.
Amazing. That's nuts.
Why is it nuts?
Come on, that's crazy.
Why, though?
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
We just can't quit Josh Allen. He's at a 16% chance. And then the Baltimore Ravens. Ooh, don't count Lamar out. The Indianapolis Colts and Daniel Jones and Shane Steichen. And then there's those Kansas City Chiefs. But I got to tell you, Joe, you see how we're going lower and lower on this list right here? I'm telling you, a nice little wild card down there. You plunk $100 back and get paid $1,429 back on the Houston Texans.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Spreadlines are your headlines here on the Early Line for a Friday morning edition. On Monday, we play Armchair Quarterback. On Friday, it's a Football Friday to get you ready what's going to happen tonight, this weekend, and also into the near future. It's bowl season, Joe. If you didn't know, Old Dominion's going to take on South Florida. New head coach involved in that situation. Look at the line. Opening around 6.5. South Florida now a favorite of 3.5. And a total, Joe, in the mid-50s, dropping to as low as 53.5, depending on where you're shopping at. ODU in South Florida. Some musical chairs taking place, but the ticket count is heavy on ODU and pushing that line lower.
Well, this is another one of those examples, Donnie, during bowl season where you clearly have one team in Old Dominion that is bringing their quarterback back. They'll have everybody available to them. This was a feisty team, a good team. I've told you about this kid, Colton Joseph. Absolutely love him. He is somebody to remember for next year, and he's going to be in this game. However, South Florida is just, they're missing all sorts of guys. This will be not even close to the team that we saw during the season. Why? Well, their coach left, number one. Quarterback is not there. Whole lot of the starters on both sides of the ball, which is why you're starting to see that line dip. And not only that line, when can you remember a South Florida game, Donnie, where the total is dropping 4 or 5 points?
It's incredible to watch this play out. And also, if you got that information early, you can get yourself some good lines in bowl season. Take a look at this game on Sunday at 1 o'clock in the windy city of Chicago. But wind temperatures there, wind chill is supposed to be below zero. Nobody ever wants to hear that. But Shedeur Sanders is coming to town to take on Caleb Williams. A big game for Chicago and also maybe for the future of Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns. This line, Joe, has not moved all week. Opened up at 7.5, still sits at 7.5 today. And the total, 38.5. Freezing cold in the windy city for this showdown.
Yeah, we saw there early on Sunday when the line came out. You might have been able to get 6.5, then 7, now 7.5, and it's kind of locked in. And I was interested, Donnie, because of the temps and what we're looking at from a weather perspective. Would we start to see that total come down a little bit? But, like you said, we haven't seen a whole lot of movement here one way or the other. We had mentioned it. The team that is going to be able to run the ball in these kinds of weather conditions is going to have the upper hand. It feels like a dead under to me, Donnie, but the market hasn't reacted that way just yet. But that is a game worth keeping and a line worth keeping an eye on.
Yeah, it certainly is. See if that ground game can get going. Colder temperatures, maybe it slows the tempo down. And also, you got a really good Cleveland defense that got embarrassed last week with Jim Schwartz, looking for that bounce back against the Chicago Bears. Las Vegas and Philadelphia from the city of brotherly love. A 1 o'clock start on Sunday, Joe. Cold temperatures here, mid-20s, winds approaching 15 miles an hour. Last time I saw Jalen Hurts and that Philadelphia offense there the past couple weeks, they look terrible in cold, windy conditions. But this is the Raiders with Kenny Pickett coming to town. The line sits at 11.5 across the board and a 38.5, similar total that we're talking about in Chicago. The Eagles need a victory. Does it have to be ugly? Does it have to be cute? Does it have to be a runaway? I don't know. But what's your spread line for this one, Joe?
Well, it's interesting, Donnie, because this originally opened up right around 12.5, and now we're sitting 11.5, and yet we're seeing all the tickets and all the money so far this week on the Philadelphia Eagles, and yet that line's not moving up, Donnie. In fact, it might have clicked down a point there, which tells me that the public still believes Philadelphia at home is the right spot, but the books aren't moving it. 11.5 is a dead number. 10 is a key number, Donnie. 11.5 is a dead number here, and it's not moving. And if I'm the books, there's no reason to use it, because if Philly is going to win this game, and if you like Philly, they are going to win it by multiple scores. If you don't think they're going to cover, well, then this is going to get real interesting in Philadelphia in the fourth quarter there, Donnie.
Yeah, money line it up on the Raiders in this one and watch this city absolutely get brought to his knees. Because at least in the last 3 games that the Eagles folded up, they're against decent competition. This is not decent competition here with the Raiders. We'll see how that one plays out. Decent competition tonight in the NBA. How about a 10 o'clock start between the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Golden State Warriors? Overnight lines at the FanDuel Sportsbook, at least, we're showing a -1, Joe. That's no longer there. 2.5s and 3.5s in the sports landscape right now, and a total of 229.5. The old school Warriors at home taking on the T-Wolves. What's your spread line for this one, Joe?
Well, Donnie, let me try and think here. What in the world associated with the Warriors would see a line move like, that's right, Steph Curry. Yeah, Steph Curry likely back in this game, and the market is reacting to it here. Now, they have not had a whole heck of a lot to be excited about. And obviously, his injury off on, when he's on, Donnie, he's fantastic. When they don't have him on the court, they are awful. The Timberwolves, I believe last time we saw them, they weren't able to get it done. They're coming off a loss, but yeah, I like to move towards Golden State at home with Steph Curry bringing the building down. I think this is a good one for the Warriors tonight.
Having a good one in college basketball tonight. Not a huge card, but we're going to get Texas and UConn tonight at 8 p.m. And maybe this is from Gamble Pavilion, and we're in the XL Center tonight here, moving down to Hartford. The total in this game, Joe, opened up at 147.5. It's down a little bit to 145.5. But the side, UConn opened up around that 13.5 number. Look at that graphic. 16.5 for Dan Hurley and the boys tonight here. Texas, UConn. What's your spread line for this one, Joe?
Yeah, not great for Texas so far this year. They're still trying to work a few things out here. But UConn getting it done. Big win against Florida earlier in the week here. But this feels like a monster number, does it not? And it's so much to the point, Donnie, where, listen, this might be, I'm going to have to hold my nose and hope that Texas can stay within it. We all know that UConn has got the horses for this, and they should have no problem winning. But winning by this number, Donnie, feels a little excessive, does it not? Even though it's in their own home territory here, I think Texas can stay within the number. But my goodness, hold your nose when betting it.
Let's have some trivia here, Joe. The XL Center used to have a professional sports franchise play in that building. Which professional sports franchise was that?
Wow, Donnie, that is it. Was it like a lacrosse team? Like, what was it? Who played in that building?
A major four sport. So you don't have to go all the way to like some arena league. Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the old Hartford NHL team?
Whoa,
no. Hartford
there you
Whalers?
go. The Whalers, baby. Let's go to the XL Center. Get a little Whalers action in here. It's what we do, people. We keep you informed on stuff like where the Whalers used to play. We'll be right back after this short break. It's Joe and Donnie on the early line. Massive budget down there in LSU, no doubt about it, Joe. But
I just want to bring in, he's very close to Eddie O, too. Yeah. And Eddie O potentially had said he would, love a return. You bring that type of talent, another major recruiter.
Yes.
And Ed Ogeron back to Baton Rouge. You're going to have a fantastic NFL caliber type of staff, and they're going to hit the ground running week number 1 come 2026.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
I think this is a very tough one. I haven't bet this because I still think it's that close. I would lean towards the sentiment of the voter body instead of the anointing of the new star. But at a certain point, the next 2 weeks, Drake May could be undeniable. It's really interesting market right for those two. And remember when Matthew Stafford wasn't going to play all year? Remember in August where he wasn't practicing? And now he is number 2 for MVP. So go figure.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
You're legendary. I'm legendary. And both of these guys love each other, right? Cam Ward, they do. They work out. Legendary.
Go ahead.
Cam Ward.
Yep.
Shador Sanders. Yep. 250 plus and 2 tutties each.
Amazing. That's nuts.
What? Why is it nuts?
Come on, that's crazy.
Why though?
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
We just can't quit Josh Allen. He's at a 16% chance. And then the Baltimore Ravens. Ooh, don't count Lamar out. The Indianapolis Colts and Daniel Jones and Shane Steichen. And then there's those Kansas City Chiefs. But I got to tell you, Joe, you see how we're going lower and lower on this list right here? I'm telling you, a nice little wild card down there. You plunk $100 back and get paid $1,429 back on Houston Texans.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
For a while, it looked like last night the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were back on the right track after a loss to the New Orleans Saints, easily dispatching of the Atlanta Falcons, up 2 touchdowns right around 10 minutes ago in the fourth quarter, until it didn't look good for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The final score last night, guys, 29-28. The Atlanta Falcons dead in the water, already eliminated from playoff contention, with maybe their biggest win of the year, scoring 15 points in the final frame, which included 3 scoring drives. Yes, 3. 2 touchdowns and a field goal because they couldn't get the 2-point conversions, and it still did not matter. Kirk Cousins last night finished that game 30 of 44 for 373 and 3 touchdowns, a passer rating of 117. This is a guy that can barely even move in the pocket or muster any offense in the previous weeks. Bijan Robinson, he was spectacular, Joe. 19 of 93 on the ground for a touchdown, 8 catches for 82 yards. Then you take a look at Kyle Pitts, who's basically insignificant for the past 2 to 3 years, barely scoring any touchdowns. He comes in and drops 3 touchdowns last night and 166 yards on 11 catches. Absolutely stunning, shocking loss for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last night, Joe.
Yeah, well, and the funny part is, like, listen, a lot of people turned this game off and went to bed. They were like, all right, I mean, 2 touchdowns under 10 minutes ago, no point. Already we've seen a lot of ugly football. We saw turnovers. We saw something I've never seen before where you can actually rule that a fumble was possessed at the same time by both the offense and the deep. Like, there was just so many weird things going on about this game. But, I mean, it was a short week, and, you know, it's not usually the best of football, but certainly the scoring lived up to the hype, and I don't know what to tell Tampa. I mean, my goodness, you had that game in hand. You kind of controlled your own destiny, and now, Donnie, they're on the outside looking up at Carolina by a half a game. Who would have thought that heading into week 15 of the season?
And how about 12 targets for Mike Evans last night? Supposed to be on a pitch count. If you would have told me before that game, 6 for 132 for Evans, that's an easy blowout victory, and it should have been. Keep in mind also that line yesterday, Joe, opened up at 4.5, or excuse me, yesterday was 4.5. The line opened up around 6, but then ballooned back to 5.5 before game time last night, and 6s were in the marketplace. It was the expectations was Tampa needs the game at home Thursday Night Football and should have won it. For me, I liked Baker Mayfield last night, hits the 277 mark, 2 touchdown passes. He wasn't really the issue. It was the Buccaneers defense. Get off the field, Joe. We're talking in the fourth quarter, so many blown third down plays, which included a 3rd and 28 conversion. The 3rd and 28 got the 14, turned into 4th and 14, and then a completion and a nice catch by Sills. Ridiculousness at the end of the game. I couldn't believe what I was watching from a Todd Bowles defense.
Yeah, it was. And the funny part, Donnie, is that they weren't even the worst of this team here last night, because the Falcons committed 19 penalties last night and figured out a way to win that game. But when you have, and you're Todd Bowles and you're a defensive-minded guy, right? When you see a 3rd and 20, and it might as well be 3rd and forever, and then you allow not one, but back-to-back big plays, not only to keep the game alive and keep their hopes alive, but at that point, it just felt like the dagger. The minute they completed that pass on 4th down and 14, Donnie, to me, it was, you could just see the air was let out of everybody. Can't get a stop. You can't win the game, even up 2 touchdowns.
How about this? Like when I get angry with my Philadelphia Eagles, sometimes, look, last game, I'll go live to Twitter. Todd Bowles can't go live to Twitter. He gets to talk to the press. Listen to Todd after the game.
What do you tell them in the locker room after a game like this?
It's inexcusable. You don't make excuses. You got to care enough where the shit hurts. You got to care enough where the shit hurts. It got to mean something to you. It's more than a job. It's your livelihood. How well do you know your job? How well can you do your job? Well, you can't sugarcoat that shit. It was inexcusable, and there's no answer for it. There's no excuse for it. That's what you tell them in the locker room. Look in the mirror.
That's a football coach right there. And sometimes you like to get to the microphone and cover for your players. He wasn't covering for anybody last night. Basically said, hey, I call the plays, you execute. We're up 2 touchdowns here at home, and you lost the game. We didn't lose the game. You lost the game. Like right out of all the right moves. Huh.
It was just bad. It was really, really bad. I mean, you had Mike Evans running up and down in that final drive, just screaming at everybody there. I'm telling you, Donnie, it was like they knew it was coming. Like you could feel it, and they felt it. And now Todd Bowles, he just knew it inside. He just knew they weren't going to get the job done, and voila, that's usually don't get a lot of fudge from Todd Bowles, but you did last night.
It was like Coach Nickerson there and all the right moves, right? Didn't let Steph back on the bus. It's your fault. You quit us. We didn't quit. You quit. We're not going to quit on you guys after. We still got an hour and a half left of this show on a Friday. We'll be right back. Massive budget down there in LSU, no doubt about it, Joe. But
well, I just want to bring in, he's very close to Eddie O, too.
Yeah.
And Eddie O potentially had said he would, love a return. You bring that type of talent, another major recruiter, and Ed Ogeron back to Baton Rouge, you're going to have a fantastic NFL caliber type of staff, and they're going to hit the ground running week number 1 come 2026.
Sports Grid's College Football Today.
I think this is a very tough one. I haven't bet this because I still think it's that close. I would lean towards the sentiment of the voter body instead of the anointing of the new star. But at a certain point, the next 2 weeks, Drake May could be undeniable. It's really interesting market right for those two. And remember when Matthew Stafford wasn't going to play all year? Remember in August where he wasn't practicing? And now he is number 2 for MVP. So go figure.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on Sports Grid.
You're legendary. I'm legendary. And both of these guys love each other. Right? Cam Ward, they do. They work out. They work out. Legendary.
Go ahead.
Cam Ward.
Yep.
Shador Sanders.
Yep.
250 plus and 2 tutties each.
Amazing. That's nuts.
What? Why is it nuts?
Come on, that's crazy.
Why, though?
Pro Football Today, only on Sports Grid.
We just can't quit Josh Allen. He's at a 16% chance. And then the Baltimore Ravens. Ooh, don't count Lamar out. The Indianapolis Colts and Daniel Jones and Shane Steichen. And then there's those Kansas City Chiefs. But I got to tell you, Joe, you see how we're going lower and lower on this list right here? I'm telling you, a nice little wild card down there. You plunk $100 back and get paid $1,429 back on Houston Texans.
The Early Line, only on Sports Grid.
We like to do football quotes around here, Joe. We like to bring the people into a little bit of our slice of life here. We're going to talk about Baltimore and Cincinnati. But before we get to the game itself, remember the Titans, Joe. Petey's up there in the lineup, and they're going to, Denzel walks in as Coach Boone. Football's fun, right? Football is not fun. It is fun. It's not, no. Football is not fun here. Well, maybe Joe Burrow is getting asked those same type of questions where he doesn't know football is fun anymore. Take a look at this press conference.
If I want to keep doing this, I have to have fun doing it. I've been through a lot, and if it's not fun, then what am I doing it for? So, mindset I'm trying to bring to the table. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but seem frustrated. There's just a lot of things going on right now. Ball related, personally, all the above. Like you said, there's nothing. All we can do is focus week to week and try to win games. I don't think anybody's really thinking about the playoffs right now. That's within reach, but on our fingertips. So we just got to keep doing what we're doing and try to get better.
Sounds like they're going to get their ass kicked, Joe. Is that what I'm getting out of this one? What am I getting out of this?
It sounds like he doesn't think they got a shot, right? I mean, he's probably saying, like, of all of the seasons, like, we can't put, like, the AFC North could have ran away with this had he been healthy enough, long enough, and I don't know, could they have actually come up with a defense that can stop somebody? But yeah, it feels like, Joe knows that this whole thing has to be blown up. And that's not great news for Joe Burrow. I don't know why he took you could have taken the money from anybody, Joe. You did not have to go back to one of the worst organizations in the NFL. You really didn't, Donnie.
Pretty impressive there, because that sounds like usually you get a quarterback up there. It's like, hey, what are your thoughts? Well, we got life. We just got to get one game at a time. He's basically going like, I don't like what's going on here. Like, is it personal? Yeah. So what is he having? Personal at home problems? Then he shows up to work and there's even more problems at work at this point. I look at that 2.5-point line. I don't like Baltimore by any stretch, but if my quarterback is basically tossing his hands up like I'm not even having fun at this point, what are we getting this weekend out of Baltimore and Cincinnati? By the way, like you talk about playing in cold weather and the way it goes down, it's 10 degrees at kickoff there for that game, which Baltimore is a favorite, Joe, of 2.5 and a total of 51.5. I look at that press conference and it makes, again, I don't know if I want anything to do with betting the Bengals in this game.
No, you can't. How can you? I mean, neither. I mean, somebody's got to win the game, I guess, but neither team is exuding confidence right now. And I mean, listen, Joe Burrow was, he has always been the glass half full guy, Donnie. He's been like that, his entire career. He was like that at LSU. So, but man, oh man, there's got to be some issues going on in that locker room. And I am sure the idea of them botching the whole Hendrickson situation is not sitting well with him either.
But again, it's Cincinnati. You didn't want to pay the guy. You came to an agreement. Yep. Then, of course, you didn't want to pay him. You could have traded him at the deadline here. He'd probably be playing on another football team, but he's not going to waste his space out there knowing he's going to be a free agent. Just handled this whole offseason ridiculously bad after signing your 2 top wide receivers. This is what you get here. How about the Philadelphia Eagles and the Las Vegas Raiders? Vegas going to come to town for a 1 o'clock game. They're a dome team. Cold weather, windy conditions, and Kenny Pickett under the helm here. A terrible defense for Vegas. Does that even matter for Philadelphia? An awful performance on Monday night from Jalen Hurts, which cost them the football game single-handedly, Joe. They're 11.5-point favorites in this game and a total of 38.5. I don't know anybody running the window to take the Philadelphia Eagles, but this is one of those litmus test games where if the Eagles win, sometimes like, okay, just break the string of losses. Now we get back. We got Washington for a couple games. We should be able to cruise out and win this division. Or is it one of those get-right games, Joe, we talk about? 31-7 final Eagles.
It better be, Donnie, and I think they know that too, because you got to stop the bleeding here in a big way. Kind of uncharted territory for the Eagles here as of late, right? It's been a long time since they've had to, pump the brakes and try and stop this here, but they have a great opportunity. It's going to be interesting to see here. Can Pickett show just how bad Geno Smith was? Or is Pickett just going to show everyone, listen, it wasn't Geno. Look at just how terrible everything on this offensive side of the ball is. I mean, they blamed Chip Kelly, and that didn't seem to help. So it'll be interesting to see what Pickett can get done.
Yeah, again, he shouldn't be very good in this game. He was a Philadelphia Eagle last year coming to town. Yes, he would like to win, but again, this is a really bad Vegas Raiders football team. And no, Jalen Hurts is not going to be replaced as the starting quarterback, but if he does lose to the Raiders and he throws 3 more interceptions, then it certainly becomes valid. But the Eagles just need to pick up a victory here, get the good vibes back in the building, the Super Bowl MVP back on track, and see what the Eagles can do for the final couple games of the regular season. Cardinals and the Texans, next one up here, Joe. A devastating defense there for Houston. They'll take on Jacoby Brissett, which I don't know if we're going to get Marvin Harrison Jr.'s game banged up once again at practice. 42.5 is the total, but how about this? Close to a double-digit favorite for the Houston Texans in this game. Listed at just about 9.5 at every outlet here. Seems to be an easy victory. Texans a little bit banged up in the backfield. Do they look past the Arizona Cardinals?
It's so hard to trust. Yes, the defense is great. We know this. But, man, you're asking an offense that is anemic with a quarterback who has never been this big a favorite, Donnie, in his career in 4 years. Somehow to just, run away with this game? I mean, that's a big ask here. Sure, Houston can win, but Donnie, are we really trusting them to do enough here offensively to win this game by double digits? And if they do, is it going to be because they had 2 pick sixes and a punt return? Because that feels like the only way we're getting an easy cover in this game. It feels like it's going to be a struggle to get this kind of number covered.
Could have been an easy cover here for the Jacksonville Jaguars at home, taking on the New York Jets, which looks to be Brady Cook getting his first start in the NFL. He was horrendous last week, getting sacked again. A 13.5-point favorite and a total of 41.5. Good weather game, though, Joe. 70 degrees, light winds, no precipitation in the forecast. But the Jets going down just for vacation, or can the Jets actually be competitive and stay within those 2 touchdowns?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be competitive at all. I think this is going to be very much like what we've seen Jacksonville. You got to give them credit, Donnie. I mean, ever since their bye week, they have been really, really consistent and really, really good. They're going to be able to run the ball. They're going to be able to pick apart that secondary. And defensively, I don't think anybody on the Jaguar side is going, oh boy, Brady Cook is going like we're in trouble here. No, nobody is thinking that. I think if Jacksonville is going to be taken seriously, these are the kinds of games. Handle your business, make it look easy, and move on.
Yeah, simple, Jacksonville. Keep moving, keep winning, win the AFC South, and Liam Cohen is doing a pretty good job in there. Should be a layup this weekend, but it is the NFL. We've seen crazier things happen. How about Washington and New York? Marcus Mariota inserted as a starter because Jaden Daniels' elbow still isn't right, and he re-injured it, but there is no structural damage. We'll see what he plays on a week-to-week basis. We won't play this week. Jackson Dart is going to play for the Giants, and the Giants are a favorite at -2.5 and a total of 46.5. I look at these type of games, Joe, and say, I really don't want to dip my toes in the water and bet a side, but I just look at it and say, neither one of these teams ever deserves to be a favorite. So who's ever the favorite, I'm just going to fade them.
I just love the fact that the Giants are still firing people at this point, week 15, Donnie. I mean, I just think that is fantastic, which tells me that they're still very, very much serious about winning games and moving forward. And if I'm the Giants, I want to win this game. If I'm Jackson Dart, it's time to rally the troops. This is a winnable game. Step up and get the job done against a division foe. And yeah, I think I have more confidence in the Giants than I do, let's say, the Bengals or some of these other teams that are likely going to get run off the field.
Like, if you're a Giants fan or a Commanders fan, like, these are the games that you actually don't like because you have a chance to win it. Like, if you're a Giants fan, you probably love to play like the Denver Broncos the rest of the way out, or, another really good, like the Patriots or something like that. Same thing here if you're looking for Washington, because, you're going to sit down and watch the game like, oh, no, we just won this. That drops our standing in the draft, and away we go at this point. Just the way it is here, but we're getting you ready for an NFL Sunday. Tom Vecchio on deck next. Let's see what he has for this weekend's action in the NFL.
There are a million ways to make money on this. There really is, right? Like, I sit back. We've given you a couple of ours that we've given you. I think they're all going to win, essentially. The gold one, the Google Views one. The only one I might not win, Cam, that I gave people was, will the U.S. government announce that aliens exist in 2026?
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Here's the problem. When Joe Dumars blows it up and trades Zion, who is going to give them anything more than 25 cents on the dollar for a damaged goods superstar who misses significant time, who doesn't love the game, but is built like a freight train? Problems are in New Orleans, and I don't know how it gets fixed.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
They're doing a new show about a Japanese interpreter.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they're doing I don't know if it's a documentary or actors are in it.
It's got
I think it's a drama.
It's a real show.
It's like a scripted show?
Yeah.
About a Japanese interpreter?
Yes.
I wonder who's getting paid for that.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Chris Beard said, I can just play different players. And kudos to Chris Beard. NIL does not matter. Recruiting rankings don't matter. Who your AAU coaches doesn't matter. At the end of the day as a coach, your loyalty is to your school. Your loyalty is to all the kids in the program.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
It's a Football Friday right here on the SportsGrid Network. It's how we get down. We got a lot of football information to get to today, and sometimes you got to bring in the help here. It's Donnie Rightside at Joe Ranieri. Now we welcome in Tom Vecchio right here on a Friday edition of the Early Line. Rising and grinding. Tom, how we feeling this morning?
I'm doing good. Crazy game last night. Shout out to Kyle Pitts for bolstering my Dynasty Fantasy team to start off the week. Didn't expect the game to go like that. I had the under, was really not expecting that many points from Kirk Cousins, 300 yards. But we're on to Sunday. We have a really, really good slate to get to.
Yeah, by the way, Tom, let me ask you a couple quick questions about last night, because we talked before the game, like the expectations of, well, you probably should just take Bijan or you take Kyle Pitts here. That's the way to go. I think a lot of prop bettors were extremely happy with that. And then you look on the other side, Bucky Irvin, 60 yards rushing at 132 from Mike Evans, Baker Mayfield, 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns for Kirk Cousins. But let me ask you this question. How the hell did that fourth quarter went the way it went and Tampa Bay doesn't pick up that victory? That was an incredible collapse.
Unbelievable from them in a bad way. Mike Evans looks good. His prop was 39.5. Next week it's going to be in the 60s probably, back where it should be. But, the Bucs have always been this team where they just don't do enough, and they may still win the divisions. They have 2 games against the Panthers, but certainly not looking great. They won't do anything in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Are we looking at Carolina as your champion of that division? Is that even possible, Tom, you think?
It is, but are they winning the division or are the Bucs losing the division is the real question. Like the Panthers may back themselves into a division title. But again, whoever wins that division, because both these teams, they have to play twice to end the season in the final 3 weeks. They're lowest on the totem pole, right? When it comes to the NFC, everyone's going to take every other team against them, and they'll be hosting a game, but I'm not sure if they'll be favorites in that game.
Yeah.
No, I don't think they will. Like, there's some really good records that are going to be wild cards here in the NFC. It's almost like you're jockeying for position to take on Tampa Bay in that game, or if it's the Carolina Panthers. Yeah. Let's get to Sunday's action, Tom. A lot of good games here. No bye weeks. I absolutely love that. So a full card. You don't have to, there's only 8 games on Sunday or 2 4-o'clock games. Great mix of games. We're going to start right at 1 o'clock. Buffalo and New England. Maybe the game of the day, and it's a 1 o'clock start here, which is impressive. Temperatures, not too bad for New England at this time of year, 28, 29 degrees, Tom. Light winds, no precipitation in the forecast. We've seen this number change back and forth. New England as a favorite, Buffalo as a favorite, which they do sit now of -1.5. The total is 49.5. Drake May's been sensational. We know what Josh Allen can bring to the table. What do you see here with the Buffalo Bills and the New England Patriots?
Well, first off, I'm leaning on the Bills to win. I wouldn't even lay the points though. It's just Bills money line at this play, -118 or so thereabout. I think they come away with the win. The Pats they've had an awesome season. There's no doubt about it. Year-over-year change for them has been fantastic, but they're running hot right now. I don't want to say that they're due for a loss, but that's essentially kind of how I feel. But I really do like Stephon Diggs over 50.5 receiving yards. He is still the number 1 receiver for the Pats. They have a very kind of mixed and jumbled receiving core with so many different options. He leads the team with 21% target share. It's not significantly higher compared to Hunter Henry or some of the other young players that are stepping up, but I like him in this spot. He is going up against his former team. We saw what he did on that Sunday night, but more importantly, the Bills secondary has been torched by receivers essentially week over week. Outside of this Pittsburgh game a couple weeks ago where there was absolutely no offense, we are routinely seeing opposing wide receivers hit this mark. Diggs projected for 59 yards right now. His prop is still sitting at 50.5, so I think there's a decent leeway to get him over this number.
My God, the Bills aren't catching. I mean, the Bills win. Even if the Bills win, they're not winning the East, right? You think the Patriots have enough to hold on and get the top billing?
I think so. It's not going to be a shoo-in for them, but I do think the Pats they have enough. They have the Bills at arm's length essentially, and it would have to be a full collapse from the Pats in order to lose it. As they go 500, they still win the division.
Let's have some fun with a few more games here on Sunday afternoon, Tom. 425, not because we think it's going to be all that competitive, and the odds makers are telling us it won't. It's a 13.5-point line. That game, that's the Colts taking on the Seahawks here. The expectations for Phillip Rivers to start. We haven't got official word, but he's been practicing. Riley Leonard has actually been practicing as well. If Phillip Rivers does play, what are the expectations for that game, and what are some betting angles we might be able to look at?
My expectation is that the Colts are going to try and sneak out a win. And it means not turning into a shootout, right? It means they can't let JSN run wild. They have to keep this game. They have to make it ugly. They have to, muck it up, essentially, as we often say when it comes to basketball. But they have to make this game dirty. They have to say Jonathan Taylor's going to carry the ball 25 times and keep Sam Darnold and JSN off the field because they just don't have the offense to go toe-for-toe with them and try and win this game with 30-some-odd points. They try and win this game 20-17. I don't know if that's happening, but I would look to Jonathan Taylor rush attempts prop at 19.5 or 20.5.
I'm trying to figure out there if Phillip Rivers is named the starting quarterback, does this line go over 2 touchdowns?
Probably not, because I think there'll just be enough resistance in the market that people will buy into the Colts. But there's just no expectation for him to go out there and do anything productive.
Right.
The funny part about it is, like, usually it's like, well, you don't want a rookie to go play the 12s up there in Seattle. We saw Max Brosman, how bad he was. But I got to tell you, like, Riley Leonard gives you a better chance to win this football game from Phillip Rivers. So Tom's angle is correct. If Phillip Rivers starts, it's for, all right, I know you're going to be competent, which means, can you complete a 5-yard pass on 3rd and 4 just to keep the chains moving so we can hand the football off once again? I do think that's the right angle to play, Tom. Let's go to the Mile High City. We're talking about cold weather temperatures all over the place. Around 60 degrees at kickoff for the Denver game, taking on Green Bay. That line is a favorite for Green Bay at 2.5. Josh Jacobs banged up, still worried about that knee at this point. Not a lot of respect for Denver. How do you see this game playing out on Sunday?
I see this as an under. Ultimately, I'm still hesitant on the Broncos. I don't think they've put together a good resume of wins. I know they have a ton of wins and they've been rattling them off and they've been coming from behind, but the quality of opponents that they've beaten is not that of a high tier. Struggling to beat the Commanders, struggling to beat the Raiders in that Thursday night game, come back versus the Giants. Like, there's still something missing. Yes, they beat the Chiefs, but the Chiefs aren't the same team that they once were. So not a whole lot that I have faith in from that game.
Tom, one more quick question. The Chiefs, is this the final time we hear about the Chiefs and playoff chances still being alive? Can the Chargers beat them, or we're just going to have to worry about the Chiefs a little bit longer?
They may win this game, but depends on what else happens in the AFC. I just think that they're done. They can obviously be back next year, but they need a significant retool in their offense.
Perfect segue into the next segment, which we will break down Chargers and Chiefs. Tom Vecchio, thanks for waking up, rising, and grinding with us right here on the Early Line on the SportsGrid Network on a Football Friday. We'll talk to you soon. For Joe and Donnie, we'll be right back after this short break. Massive budget down there in LSU, no doubt about it, Joe. But
I just want to bring in, he's very close to Eddie O, too.
Yeah.
And Eddie O potentially had said he would, love a return. You bring that type of talent, another major recruiter. And Ed Ogeron back to Baton Rouge, you're going to have a fantastic NFL caliber type of staff, and they're going to hit the ground running week number 1 come 2026.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
There are a million ways to make money on this. There really is, right? Like, I sit back. We've given you a couple of ours that we've given you. I think they're all going to win, essentially. The gold one, the Google Views one. The only one I might not win, Cam, that I gave people was, will the U.S. government announce that aliens exist in 2026?
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Here's the problem. When Joe Dumars blows it up and trades Zion, who is going to give them anything more than 25 cents on the dollar for a damaged goods superstar who misses significant time, who doesn't love the game, but is built like a freight train? Problems are in New Orleans, and I don't know how it gets fixed.
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Super Bowl MVP, multiple Super Bowl chances there, Super Bowl championship as they got it. Nick Sirianni said on the radio, no chance that Jalen Hurts is going to be benched. But by the way, Jalen Hurts didn't play the last 3 games. I think the Eagles would be 3-0 in those games, though. Just saying, Joe.
Oh, wow. How the mighty have fallen. When the Eagles fans turn on their quarterback, it's getting ugly in Philly, folks.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Arrowhead Stadium here, Joe. That's the site that's going to take on the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to bang on that drum. They're going to have chants from the stands because this might be a last stand. Remember, Custer's last stand didn't work out all that well. Could be the Kansas City Chiefs' last stand, Joe. 16-degree temperatures at kickoff, very light winds, no precipitation. You do have a quarterback coming to town in Herbert that still has a broken hand, colder conditions. Can he hold on to that football? But the question is, can the Chiefs hold on to their season? They're favoring this game, Joe, and many outlets, as we list here, at -5.5 and a total of 41.5. Both of these offensive lines incredibly banged up and injured. I don't know where the offense is coming from. It feels like this is an ultimate playoff game. The Chargers with the hammer right now looking to swing it against Kansas City. But can Kansas City get off the mat here? I tend to believe Kansas City will win this football game, but it's not a buying into Kansas City as if this was the old Kansas City with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and they always pull rabbits out of a hat. They don't win one-score games. And, Joe, looks like this is going to be a one-score game.
Well, but they're still good enough here in order to beat a warm weather indoor Chargers team coming in and having to play in just absolute the worst conditions. And the fact that you're right, Donnie, I'm still trying to figure out how they beat the Eagles, even though they gave up a 70% pressure rate there. They were in his face there, Justin Herbert, every play on every snap. And you know that's exactly what's going to happen here with Kansas City. I don't know that the Chargers are going to be able to give up that much pressure on Herbert back-to-back weeks and come away with wins here. Not to mention Trey Smith, the right guard, starting right guard. He has been practicing fully. He's returning there. Trent McDuffie, who went down in that game last week, he looks like he is back and ready to go, even though he hyperextended his knee. So they're getting a little bit healthier. And you got to be able to trust them at Arrowhead still against this kind of banged-up Chargers team, don't you?
You should be able to do that. And the way I look at this football game, it's colder temperatures, as we said, Joe. They're used to that in Kansas City. They played some freezing cold games, which were ridiculous that even got played. The wind is going to be light. I look at Patrick Mahomes, 236.5, Joe. I actually like that to the over. And Justin Herbert's number around 204, I do like that to the under here. Because I don't think there's anything you can leave in the bank where it's like, if we have a chance to press it down on the Chargers, let's not run the clock out. Let's get up 2 scores on them. And still with Herbert with that banged up hand, didn't look all that good last week. The Eagles sacked him, 7 times in that game? I give the edge to Kansas City, but I just don't know if I can lay that 5.5 in this football game. The Bills and the Patriots, we talked about that previously also with Tom Vecchio. A monster game in the AFC here. You take a look at the New England Patriots, not even favored in their home building. They already knocked off the Buffalo Bills in Orchard Park. A 1.5-point favorite for the Bills, which tells you a lot, and a total of 49.5. Cold temperatures, light winds, no precipitation in the forecast, a heavyweight battle. If Buffalo wants to win this division, they're going to have to win this football game.
They are, and they'll be ready to go. I mean, you got, a 10-game winning streak here for New England. They're coming off a bye week, Donnie, and like you said, they're a underdog at Foxborough. Yeah. I think that line speaks volumes to what's going on. And to me, it's all about strength of schedule. They have played and beat just a hilarious comedy of backup quarterbacks, banged up offenses. They've taken advantage of what has been a very favorable schedule. Now they're taking on a Josh Allen Buffalo Bills, where you saw Josh Allen scramble for 86 yards last week, Donnie. That's the most rushing yards a quarterback has had all season long in the NFL. When you have to worry about him running is when you've got a lot to worry about when it comes to this Bills offense here. He's the key. He doesn't lose in December. This is where Josh Allen and Buffalo play their best football. There's so many unknowns with this young Patriots team here. They're a favorite for a reason, Donnie.
Yeah, Josh Allen, 228.5 is his passing prop. And understand this, too. You get Dalton Kincaid back, man, that offense changes up, and you got that big play tight end back, which helps those wide receivers get open. It's not just a slogfest down the season. So you have the offensive line getting healthy for the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen, a quarterback, a dominant run game. Now you throw back both of your tight ends and your wide receivers getting a little bit healthier at this point as well. This is going to be a tough game for the Patriots. But again, they've been up against it all year, Joe, where you take a look and say, referendum games, continue to show me. Let me tell you something. Patriots win this game, they're for real in the AFC, Joe.
Yeah, well, listen, that's a big if. But they've got to show it, and they've got to prove it, and they'll have the opportunity. But that 10-game winning streak looks good on paper, but the reality is, who have they beaten, Donnie? Really?
Exactly. James Cook, anytime touchdown, -120. Josh Allen, -105. One of those guys is going to score at least one touchdown. Hour number 2 coming up next.
Yep.